Hey guys, welcome to another Tyler Walsh Concept episode. Today I'd like to talk about something that's obviously very important for both safety and performance, and that is helmet selection. This is a pretty highly controversial topic, mainly because you have helmets of the same Snell certification ranging from $150 to upwards of $4,000 if you're looking for a full carbon shell. There's a lot of controversy, obviously, in the fact that you can get a $150 helmet that is technically legal and passes the same safety requirements as, again, multiple $1,000 helmet. That's not including paint either. Alright, so on the table now we have my helmet collection over the years from past and what I currently use. Starting on the right here with an Arai GP5K, in the center with just a plain old GP5, and on the right here an HJC AR11. Each of these helmets are good, high in value, I think, ranging from what used to retail for around $700 now can be had, especially since it's discontinued. An Arai GP5K can be had for $400. Older GP5s can be had for $600, and HJC AR11 is still HJC's current in their current line, can be had for I think $400 retail. Unfortunately, I do not own an Arai GP6 of any variant. From what I can tell from just handling them and from what others have said, they are superb, an advancement over the GP5 in every way. I'm just going to go start this video out by obviously introducing these and saying some good things about them and what how I have configured them. So let's just get started here with the HJC AR11. This is not the carbon version. HJC do offer a carbon fiber shell. I believe retail is either $800 or $900, which is pretty reasonable, especially for again, a full carbon helmet. All of my helmets are fitted with radio headsets or helmet kits, excuse me, and Hans posts. So we'll have to take that into consideration. As far as weight is concerned, obviously you can buy tinted visors for all. That's not really a huge surprise. As far as this one's concerned, obviously it's painted in Senna tribute coloration, just with a few stickers on it, and again Hans posts and radio helmet kit. One thing I will say about this helmet is it does run smaller. The HJC runs a little smaller than the Arai's. This is a size medium. It's too tight for my head. Both of the GP5s are, again, size medium, and they fit my head absolutely perfect. I don't think I have a unique head shape by any means, but just food for thought if you're currently in the market for a helmet. One thing I will say is I was intending on using this as a rain helmet, in case there's a rain race, primarily in cars. Currently it's my go-to karting helmet for a few reasons, which I'll go ahead and just describe right now. First thing, I did get a lot of buffeting, anywhere over 100 miles an hour in this helmet in both Radical SR3s and my Formula Enterprise car. It was pretty extreme. You'll see that there is this central air inlet with 4 holes going down in your head for cooling, obviously. This is a factory piece. With it in its stock form, it produced a lot of turbulence, a lot of buffeting, so much so that I could hardly keep my head in a fixed position going, again, over 100 miles an hour. When I was using this in cars, I actually took it off, and that helped reduce most of the buffeting, probably 90%. There's still a little that remains with this, again, this clear inlet removed. Obviously, some Schuberth designs have this, some Bell designs have this, again, large central air inlet, and those don't seem to be an issue. But in this case, it was an issue, a very serious issue. For what I did right now is just contacted HJC for some this clear tape that you put on the other side, double-sided tape. And I moved this down so the inlet starts about here opposed to back here. I use that for karting. Obviously, lower speeds, you're not worried about buffeting as much. It helps, you know, it still provides cooling, opposed to having this completely removed and just having the four holes exposed. As far as the rear is concerned, I guess we'll talk about that now. Again, this aerodynamic piece is, you know, pretty sleek, pretty inexpensive. I believe you can buy them for 20 or 30 bucks from HJC. There's also an additional piece that should come with your helmet. This, again, just fits in the same slot. This little wing section is a little larger as the airfoil itself, as well as it provides protection for the back of your helmet if you're going to sit up against a headrest or anything like that. I don't find that to be a major issue and just run the small one, as you can see. But there is a nice, you know, molding that will fit the large one in the helmet itself. I don't really honestly have a preference either way. They both seem to perform the exact same. And obviously, as you can see, I just use a small one. Again, this was going to be used as my primary car helmet for use in the rain, as I don't like to get my primaries wet in case it goes dry, you know, either in a future session or the next day. Another issue I had with this helmet was the visors had a pretty serious tendency to fog. You know, using dedicated rain products on the visor to help that issue didn't really help as much as I would have hoped. That's one thing to take into account if you're considering purchasing this helmet, is the visors do have a tendency to fog, as well as some of the turbulence if you don't modify the aero configuration, i.e. removing this top piece seemed to help a lot. This one, obviously, you can see has some stickers on it that I just slapped on, as well as I painted the pivot kit, or the pivot points, with black spray paint. I think it gives it a pretty cool look. Obviously, you can do whatever you'd like. One other issue I had that I wasn't sure if I wanted to talk about or not was both this helmet and another just like it. We've had these inner collar pieces start to rip off. HJC has been very helpful. Their customer service is excellent. I will say that. And they offered to install a new liner free of charge. That's cool. You know, customer service is obviously extremely important, especially when you're spending hundreds of dollars on their product. However, I don't think it should be an issue, especially since this helmet is less than 8 months old. I think the durability, reliability could be a little better. Overall, though, for less than $400, I think this helmet is a great buy. Obviously, it's Snell SA now 2010 certified. You know, it's about 8 ounces heavier than the GP5, unfortunately, and that is one of the main another drawback to the HJC. But again, it's less than half the cost. I highly recommend it if you're looking, you know, to spend under $500 if you want fully equipped with, you know, a tinted visor or anything like that. It does not come pre-drilled for Hans Pulse. You got to do that yourself. You can find dimensions and whatnot easily yourself. Not a big issue. But again, just a few things to take into consideration. Let's take a look at the GP5K now quickly. This is the first helmet I ever bought. It was used primarily for karting for several years. I've had this helmet since 2007. Absolutely love it. This is the GP5K variant, denoted by the larger eye port, as well as just a single inlet and single exhaust for the cooling. It's dimensionally the same, or extremely similar, besides the eye port, as a standard GP5, except it's a lot more affordable. You know, there are a few drawbacks, as mentioned, with a little less cooling. This helmet is actually 9.5 ounces lighter than the HJC, and again, this is measured with, you know, paint applied, Hans Pulse, as well as a radio helmet kit installed. I cannot say enough about this helmet. I think for its retail price, and especially what you can pick them up now for, this is my first choice if you're looking for something under $1,000. you know, well under $1,000, even if you want to configure it like I have now. The PED kit's performance enhancing device from Arai will run you $100. They're not necessary. Even without them, this helmet will not move around on you at speed at all. With these added, however, even this is an extremely stable platform. There's absolutely zero buffeting in any open cockpit car that I've driven. One other thing that I don't see a lot of people talk about with the PEDs is the increased cooling that they offer. You can see that this is located just below the mouth inlets on the GP5s, and obviously it forces more air into those holes, as well as providing stability and negating any lift that the helmet produces. This is my dedicated rain helmet now. Again, I advise that you have 2 helmets, obviously if that's a viable option for you, just because they will get soaked. They're in a lot of air. You're out in the elements in a heavy downpour. I mean, these will take a day or more to completely dry out. So I advocate obviously having 2 helmets, again, if that's an option for you. The Arai visors, clear and with any tinting, are absolutely superb in terms of A, quality, but B, and more importantly, fog resistance. You can have this thing fully closed, breathing heavy on a humid day or a damp day, and you will not get any fogging. And this is with absolutely no products applied to it. There's just no need. They are absolutely superb. Or I do offer a heated visor. I don't even know what retail is on that. It's expensive, and in my opinion, not necessary. The interior on this helmet was replaced a number of years back by Arai, just because I wasn't wearing a balaclava, and my 5 o'clock shadow was eating this up pretty bad. Arai replaced it for free, paid for shipping both ways, and actually gave me a free tinted visor for the trouble. Can't complain about that. They replaced the chin strap system as well. Pretty neat of them to do that. Again, with the PED kit installed, you will not get any buffeting whatsoever with this helmet, as well as increased cooling. You can configure your inlet and exhaust ports as you'd like. I've got an adjustable one on the rear here, and a clear one on the front. No big deal. You can get, obviously bigger ones if you want. I don't really find it necessary, as this helmet does cool extremely well. Again, I think the GP5K or GP6S, as it's now known, are extremely high value. I recommend them for anybody who's willing to spend, again, around $700 or $800 for a helmet, and that's before obviously visors or PEDs or Hans posts, anything like that. All the Arai SA certified helmets do come with pre-drilled Hans posts, just with a little plastic clip if you are gonna use it for that application, and they're already drilled, which is a nice feature. Again, professionally done. Let's move on to my current helmet. No, unfortunately, it's not a GP6, but a standard GP5, painted by Smart Race Paint. Can't say enough good things about them either, but we'll get into that in another video. This is configured with GP6 style inlets, as well as PEDs, front and rear. And there's a clear bra or clear stick-on feature that I honestly can't remember who made it. I'll put it in the description here after I find it, but it's an excellent product. It fits around, I mean, you can hardly even tell it's here. Maybe you'll see a blend line right here. You can see a little bit, but it's just a clear stick-on piece of plastic that helps, prevent rock chips. You can see on the first day out, I did get one rock chip right here before I knew about that product. But highly recommended. Again, I'll put a description or a link into the description, and they also sell in the same kit, one for the back, one for the top, and one for the bottom. Unfortunately, the bottom one will not fit with a PED on unless you modify it yourself. I don't even run it. I don't find it to be an issue. The biggest place I see, at least in the Formula Enterprise car, that you get rock chips is right above the visor line. There's one here. I've got one on my GP5K, as well as the HJC AR11. Same chip in the exact same spot. I configured this one a little different than most. I put GP6 style inlets again on the top, a front PED as well as a rear. I see a lot of guys just running the rear PED, and I think that's mainly just for looks. They're missing a big part. I think the front PED is equally as important, maybe even more, as the rear. This helmet cools so much I can't even put it into words. Absolutely remarkable job, again, as for the cooling on this helmet. As well as the stability. With the front and rear PEDs, I mean, you can literally feel the downforce produced on the helmet. It is so stable, you forget you're wearing it. It's light, again, about 8 ounces lighter, as is configured here, than the HJC AR11. Even like when you're turning the helmet, you know, in the mirrors, you know, look in your mirrors, you'll get absolutely zero buffeting, zero resistance. And I've tested it up to 140 miles an hour. Unfortunately, that's all I've gone with this helmet on, but remains absolutely stable in those conditions. Dark tinted visor here. You can just see how everything's configured. Again, with front and rear PEDs. I cannot recommend Arai enough when you're looking to make your helmet purchase. Again, I know the GP6s are supposed to be absolutely phenomenal, a step above a GP5 in every way. Unfortunately, yes, excuse me, they are expensive, but sometimes if it's in the budget, if you can afford it, I would definitely go for an Arai GP5 or GP6. There are 4 main important things that I consider in a helmet. First is fit, second is weight, third is cooling, and fourth is aerodynamic stability. And I think the fit, at least for me on the Arais, is perfect for my head, again, size medium. They're light, again, 8 to 9 ounces lighter than the HJC, configured similarly. The cooling is absolutely superb, again, with these enlarged cooling inlets that I put on myself. And you can too. You can buy them from Arai. They're like $30 for all 3. With those inlets, with the front PEDs and the rear PEDs working together in sync, you can see there's little exhaust outlets on the bottom of this rear PED, and there's holes there. Help create a low pressure back here and extract some air from underneath the helmet. Everything works as it was designed to. Absolutely perfect. And lastly, aero balance. No buffeting. I mean, I can't describe how stable this helmet is, and how much it's impressed me. It's a question I get a lot. You know, why would you spend an extra, you know, $500 or more on an Arai over, you know, a similarly, you know, quote unquote equipped helmet from Bell or HJC? The reason being is, again, just because from what we described, you're buying a lightweight helmet, the absolute best quality for the money, with superb cooling, with perfect aerodynamics. I can't say enough good things. There's not a single thing I would change on this helmet, or at least what they have not already done to the GP6. I hope that gives you guys some insight, again, into choosing the helmet that fits your needs exactly, whether it be for karting or for cars. This is one thing that I would, you know, recommend more towards cars than a kart, again, because Nomex adds a little weight, a little extra heat relative to a dedicated karting helmet like an Arai SK6. Hopefully we'll have some more reviews like this coming up in the future. Thanks for watching.